Well, so here's my new 1997 crafted in Japan Fender Jaguar. It's used, obviously. Really good shape. Few problems with it when I got it. With the tremolo buzzing like they all do. The bridge was not the Mustang one that I just put in it. The pickup was, the bridge pickup was really low. I had to change the knobs. I had to buy the tremolo bar. So I'm going to take it apart and show you what I did, because it was pretty easy. So I'm going to take it apart now and show you. It's in really good shape. The neck is in great shape. Nice and straight, not too straight. It doesn't buzz, so the tremolo bar was buzzing like crazy. So I'm going to take it apart and show you what I did. So the tremolo assembly is pretty easy. It just comes off with these, removing these 4, 5, 6 screws. Okay, so it's just this, and the other 4. All right, pretty easy. I'll just take. So here's the tremolo. I took it apart, and it's the underside of it. The first thing I noticed was that this wasn't going under here like it should, to keep it from the tremolo bar to go backwards. All right, you can press it, but it can't go backwards. And if you move that the screw over, or this thing over, then keeps it from lock. It's unlocked, and this is locked. So I know I had to adjust this screw, which adjusted this because somebody just tightened it way too much. I guess they wanted a big swing on the tremolo bar. Also, tremolo bar was swinging. They all seem to swing like crazy. Everybody says they don't stay in place like the Strat. But all I did, if you notice, there's some, this is split, it's like a split shaft, or so I took a pair of pliers and squeezed these in a little bit, and it holds in place now. Won't last for a long time, especially if you use it a lot, but it'll hold for a while. It's pretty thick metal, so it'll hold for a while. But all you gotta do is just squeeze it a little bit, squeeze it, and close it up a little bit, and you know, the tremolo arm stays in place now. I mean, you can buy a Stay Trem, which is another brand, and they make them in England, but you can't find them in the States. I've been looking for one, and you just can't find it. It has like a bushing inside, and it's not like this at all. I thought this might be loose, but it wasn't. So it's nice and tight. So the only problem was this. This wasn't adjusted right. So that's number one. That's the first thing I adjusted, and it immediately stopped the buzzing. Most of it, I should say. It was buzzing really bad. So it stopped the buzzing quite a bit. Now the next thing I did was change the bridge. It had the old bridge here with see this type of bridge, and the strings just don't stay in place, especially if you play pretty hard. They just don't stay in place. So I swapped it for a Mustang bridge, but the Mustang bridge isn't exactly the same width as this part here. This is like 52 millimeters from string to string, and the Mustang bridge, the grooves are 55 millimeters. So it's not perfect. Again, if I could find a Stay Trem, which is a British brand, I'd buy it. Can't find them anywhere in the States. They don't import them anymore, and company in England won't ship them out of England anymore. They're exactly, it's a little narrower, so the strings stay in place. It's not terrible. I'll show you once I put it back together. Once you take the 9 screws out, the pick guard just pops right out. It just slides right out. Pretty easy. The side. And then you got your pickups. Now this one is held by 2 screws. These 2 screws that go into the wood directly. And something else I wanted to point out. If you have to adjust the neck, wow, that's where you adjust the neck, right there. See that screw right here? That's where you adjust the neck, not at the top like the Telecaster and the Strat. So if you have to adjust the neck, man, you got to take this whole thing apart to be able to do that. And it doesn't even look like a screwdriver is going to fit through there either. So, wow, that's a pain in the ass. Well, mine is in good shape, so far I don't have to do that. So I'm going to loosen these 2 screws and take this out and show you what's under there and what I did to fix it. So this is what's under the pickup. This piece of foam. See, a really thick piece of foam that's under there. And it's supposed to be pretty thick so that the pickup can go all the way up. Obviously this is old, so what, 22 years old? So the foam just kind of dries up and it's just gets compressed and it just won't go up. So when I opened it up, I found some filler that somebody did. They put this little card in there, and the person that sold it to me said he was a luthier. Man, there's a lot of stuff he didn't know how to fix. So this was under there, and it was supposed to bring it up, but it wasn't even working that well. It wasn't just not enough. So I found some springs that I had for the Strat pickups, and I'm going to put those on. Some people don't like the springs, but you can get this rubber foam online. They'll sell you the 2 pieces. The neck bridge didn't need it. It's the right height, so I left it alone. I'm not going to put springs on that if it doesn't need it. You can either change this. Some people stick it onto the wood. This one's stuck onto the pickup. I'm going to leave it on. And I'm going to put the springs on it. It's not that hard. And if you notice, they're screwed right onto the wood. I think the Fender Professional Jaguar has some sort of an insert there for the screws to go in. This one just goes right into the wood. Not a big deal. So I'm just going to put the springs on it, and it works fine. It was working fine. I just took it off and went all the way up. So let me put that back together. So that's how the springs fit in there. When you get them, they're a little bit long, a lot longer than this. So I had cut them so they're just beyond the screw a little bit. Can't put too much in there because then they just compress too much and you probably won't be able to lower it as much as you want. So you can cut them even a little bit more than that. This seems to work for me. It's not that much longer, so that's a good size. So it's a little bit of a pain in the butt because you got to line the holes with the screws with the holes and the springs, but it's not that bad. All right, so I got the pick guard back in there, and the pickup, the bridge, the tremolo arm, everything's back on in there. A couple of points I wanted to make out is if you're going to buy one of these, get the one for the made in Japan, because I believe the distance of the screw post is a little bit different than the American made, according to what I've read. So just make sure you get that so that it'll slide in there. And same thing with these knobs. You have to get the 6mm split shaft, because these are the this is what it had on before. Didn't really care for that. They're not bad. They look like Telecaster ones. But this is the push-in type, okay, and it's 6mm shaft. So just when you get that, don't get the one with the set screw, because then you got to get a collar for it so it can go in there. So just be aware of that. Okay, not a bad knob. I'll use it for something else. So that, just like these better, because they look more like the original version. All right, so I'm just gonna adjust the height of the pickup. When you do the pickup height, you have to do, you don't have to, but the good starting point is you depress the last fret, and then you measure the height from the post to the string, and it is 6/64 on the bass side and 5/64 on the treble side. So you need a nice small ruler to do that. But again, I mean, you got to depress this and then measure. So you kind of need 3 hands. But I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to put it all together. The height of this was all adjusted. I got that right. Let's put it back together or finish. All right, so I got it all back together again. I got all the right specs, the starting points, I should say. I don't mind it leaving it at the starting points. I adjusted the height of the bridge. You need a little Allen wrench. That's for my Telecaster. And it fits right in here. And you can adjust the screws and raise it or lower it as you want. You do the measurement at the 17th fret without depressing the strings. That's 5/64 and 4/64. So 5/64 at the bass side and 4/64 at the treble side, without depressing the strings. And then the height of the pickup is you depress the last fret and you measure from the top of the post to the string, and that's 6/64 on the bass side and 5/64 on the treble, while you depress the string at the last fret. And another thing I did was bend the treble arm, because it was just too straight, too low. I took it to put it on the vise, and I just gave it a little bend over here, if you notice. So it just moves up just a little bit. And it also doesn't touch the knobs. So worked out pretty good. So that's all the stuff I did to it. So if you buy a used guitar, that's a lot of stuff you have to do sometimes. Sometimes they come in pretty good condition. Good thing the neck was in really good condition. So love this neck. It's very thin. So not very thin, but it's a little bit thinner than my Strat. So it works out good for me because I don't have very long fingers. So, and that's it. Hope this helps you out, taking it apart and adjusting. Good luck.